Welcome to Business Coaching Secrets with Karl Bryan. If you want to attract new high-end coaching clients, fill live events, and build a wildly profitable coaching practice where business owners pay, stay, and refer, you've come to the right place. In this podcast, Karl provides his keys to the kingdom for finding and signing high-paying clients and building the coaching business of your dreams. Here we go.
Hey, it's Karl Bryan here. Welcome to Business Coaching Secrets. I'm here with my good bud, Justin Brooke, an absolute legend in the media buying space. In fact, he's, as far as I can see, the world's number one paid traffic expert. He spent over $10 million on advertising, acquired 50,000 customers for himself and his clients. I believe he has about 5,000 students at present that have gone through Adskills.
It's 11,000. We got to update that bio.
You got to update your stuff, man. There you go,
Yeah.
Justin. I love it. I think it's more that he can't keep up. He's a reasonably busy guy. He's also a devoted family man on steroids. Insanely funny guy to follow on Facebook. And the bottom line, guys, anything paid traffic, Justin's your guy. So, Justin, it's an honor to have you here, man. And how's it going?
Life is good, man. I'm at one of them points right now where it's so good it's a little scary, and I'm trying to have that positive mindset and not think that way. But, man, it's so good I just don't want it to stop.
I know, man. I know that feeling. I've been there myself a few times with a few seven-figure businesses I've built, and I know that self-sabotage every once in a while has jumped in and like a gorilla on my shoulders. But anyways, something tells me, man, you're going to be just fine and you're going to crank it. And congrats on all the success you're having, man. It's been amazing to watch.
Thank you.
Cool, man. So tell me what, I would say over the last 3 years, again, I've been a follow of yours, a very fond follow of yours, by the way. You put out some unbelievable free content. If anybody, I don't think anybody needs to, sadly, maybe this is going against the grain here of the nature of the interview, but nobody needs to pay you anything, man. If I just follow you free on Facebook, the magic that you give me is absolutely unbelievable. I know that when somebody does that, it comes very much from a place of passion. So what got you started in being the paid traffic guy?
Well, years ago, back in 2007, I had an internship with Russell Brunson, who, this is long before the ClickFunnels days, and so my job as an intern was to go through his $250,000 walk-in closet full of courses and seminar DVDs and cassettes and just everything. And so my job was to go through them and then write affiliate review articles so he could make his money back and all that stuff. And so I got the education of a lifetime. I got to learn from Chet Holmes and Joe Polish and Jay Abraham and Dan Kennedy and Stephen Pierce. The best of the best of the best. Everything was in there from personal development to marketing to sales to business. And, there happened to be a little Google Ads course in there. And that Google Ads course, kind of gave me an awakening, because I had always thought of advertising as being very expensive. I looked at advertising as like, oh, you got to put an ad on TV. And you got to remember, this is 2007. Digital marketing was just becoming a thing. Even if you look at the oldest gurus in the space, most of them haven't been around before 2004. There's a few that have been around even longer than that. So 2007, we're talking really, really early. And so advertising at that point was like billboards and TV and radio. And I just looked at it as something very expensive and risky. But here's this course on Google Ads showing me that I can pay per click and that I can get started with under $100. I was like, wow, this is incredible. I've been working like a dog trying to get traffic to my website with like this SEO stuff and writing articles, and it's crazy what we used to do pre-Facebook. And I was working really hard, and I saw this Google Ads thing, so I went home, and it was unpaid internship, so I'm still broke. I got the education of a lifetime, so I'm full. My head's full of millions, but my pockets my pockets are empty.
Got it.
So
you actually did get started though, did you not? Like on $100, I believe, right? Like that.
I did. Yeah. So when I got home, I started telling my girlfriend, who's now my wife, I was like, man, I want to do this Google Ads stuff. I learned all these things. You look at how we did our website. She was like, well, that's great. I'd love to do them too. Sounds good. We got no money. And so I came up with the brilliant plan to pay half of our electric bill and take the other half.
I love it.
Sounded good at the time. And so I took $60. I put it on a pathetic little $2 a day ad campaign, and I made $150 that month. So I paid my electric bill quickly, and then put the rest back in, and I doubled my money every month for 11 months in a row. I had a 6-figure business. I was making over 10 grand a month, starting from $60. And so that's why I'm a paid ads guy, because like Google Ads literally took me from eating ramen noodles to Red Lobster. So
what were you selling? I'm curious. What did you sell for the $100? What were the ads you were buying?
It was actually a little $35 video course. Back then WordPress wasn't the king that it is today. There was kind of two options. There was WordPress or Joomla. And Joomla is very similar to WordPress, a little harder to get set up. And back then, the only way you would learn, YouTube was just coming alive. There was just some cat videos and the Charlie Bit Me video on there. It wasn't, what it is today. So I was selling this video course because everybody else was trying to read. Could you imagine trying to read a book on how to do WordPress? Like that would be the driest. It would be so painful, but that's what we had to do, And so when I had a video course, and then I only had one ad, for $2 a day, you can't have a whole bunch of ads. So I had one little ad on one website, right at the Joomla forum, where everybody would log in and ask everybody else, how the heck do we install Joomla? How do we build a membership site out of Joomla? There was my ad, learn how to build a membership site on Joomla. And people could watch videos. And there was no upsells or anything. I wasn't smart enough to do any of that stuff yet. It was just a $35 course, That's it.
I love it, man. High five, dude. I love stories like that, eh? Rags to riches, literally. That's beauty. So, Okay, so I saw recently that you got on TikTok, which, by the way, it's kind of took me by surprise, right? I was like, TikTok, first of all, I said, what the hell is TikTok? So I had to go look it up. But anyway, so where do you see social going? Like, what's your picture for it? Where are we going here?
Social is going to be, one of the biggest things. It already is. We've got, what's it, Kylie? I don't know all the Kardashian names, but I think she's like one of the first social media billionaires. So social media is not only creating millionaires, it's creating billionaires now. And if you look at, we tend to lag behind Asian countries, and we have been for a long time. The games, video games always came out first over there, and so if you look at what's going on in China right now, you can see that like everything that was going on there is starting over here. And so the way it works in China is all the sales. Advertising isn't that effective over there because it's everywhere. It's like, everywhere, there's signs and, everywhere. And so the way the consumer knows what to buy is they follow influencers on all these different social platforms. And that's the way most of the marketing is done over in China. And you can kind of see that pattern is emerging over here. And and so this TikTok is really just the next version that's being adopted over here. The next thing they're going to do with TikTok is they're going to announce a built-in store, and it's going to be like everybody has their own home shopping network. Instead of just one home shopping network, anybody can be a home shopping network. And so that's where we're going. And if you don't, I strongly believe if you're not paying attention to it, if you're not doing it, you're going to be missing out. So, I think advertising and social media and content marketing are the three biggest things everybody should be doing.
Yeah, love it. So, okay, what about the big three then? So, do you feel like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or at least that's what I'd call the big three?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Like, where do you see them go? Fast forward 24 months. What do you see the popularity of those three platforms at?
There's still going to be the big three, and really, you're talking about the big two because Instagram is Facebook.
Yeah.
They're owned by the same company. I mean, yes, they're different websites, different apps on your phone, but they're kind of the same company. I don't see anybody dethroning them. I don't think TikTok I look at TikTok as another YouTube more so than I look at it as another Snapchat or another um, Instagram or anything like that. And I know that Instagram's kind of come out.
Would you go
I don't,
TikTok like eBay?
I don't know about that. It's more Twitch. It's more YouTube. It's more entertainment. And I think it'll soon not only be entertainment, but it'll be content as well. Very short form content where you go to YouTube to watch a 10, 20-minute long tutorial. On TikTok, you'll be watching 1 minute long stories and case studies and tips and things like that.
Yeah. Cool. I like it. But anyway, you feel comfortably though that Facebook, like we fast forward 24 months, you still think that like Facebook and Instagram, LinkedIn, these guys will still be riding. To see anybody on the way and somebody who's got sort of a competitive advantage or something, or such a unique offering that they'd have a chance at coming up on their tails.
No. I think they're still going to be the big giants that they are, and they'll continue to get more and more competitive and more expensive, and so TikTok is just the new underground place where the little guy still has a chance. I don't believe. I mean, you can. The little guy still does have a chance on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. But you got to work really, really hard. And I think 24 months from now, I don't even know if the little guy will have a chance. You got to have teams. Same thing is going on YouTube. It's hard for the little guy. Most of the YouTubers today, they have a team of people. They got editors, they got marketers, they got all this stuff behind them. And so I think TikTok is just the new kind of place where the little guy can have a shot and grow big. And like everything else, it'll grow big one day, and then there'll be another little guy spot. So.
Yeah, no joke. It will not stop. I love it. So, okay, basically driving paid traffic to advertising campaigns is something that to say you're well versed in that would be an understatement on steroids. Give me an example of like a really cool campaign that you saw, like maybe one that you didn't think would do it well as it did, or maybe it was something that just shot to the moon. What's a cool example of a ad campaign gone good?
I'd have to say, I've got one of my own that did over 10,000 leads. That's one that kind of shocked me. I mean, it actually got to 17,000 leads. That was our highest day was 17,000 leads. And what we did, I don't really know the behind the scenes story of other people's stuff. I know the behind the scenes story of my own.
Yeah. Give us that one. So what about the one that got to 17,000 leads? Like, what did that look like?
Yeah, so we were averaging, between 12 and 15,000 leads a day, but we spiked at 17,233. That's my record. If anybody wants to go after the record, I welcome you to it. I'll happily pay you for your time to figure out how you did it. So what we did is it was a poll. Most people are pretty familiar with quizzes as a list building thing. The difference between a poll and a quiz is a poll is yes or no, A or B, this or that. It's usually two questions, one question, two answers, where a quiz is one question with multiple answers, or it's multiple questions, 3, 4 different questions, usually used to kind of really segment people out, where a poll is either this or that, and so this poll that we were running was in the finance market, and it was where's the better place to invest your money, the stock market or the real estate? And so people feel very strongly about that. You could do that in the health space. You could do keto versus paleo. You could do paid traffic versus free traffic. You could do this in just about every market. I don't know if you'll be able to get to the scale in every single market. In the finance, finance is a very big market. Real estate and the stock market it's huge. So you can get that kind of scale. And so, you have to have that real easy opt-in. So, it's yes, it's stock market or real estate. And then when they click one, a little opt-in box pops up with a blurred out chart. And underneath the blurred out chart, it says, enter your email below to find out what everybody else voted. And then, underneath the email form, it says, we will send the results to the email address you use above. And that's just so that we don't get any fake emails.
Yeah. Got it.
And so the way that we were really able to scale this is one, by using Google display ads and really optimizing our campaigns. We were able to get our per opt-in cost below $3, but then you still got to pay $3 a lead, and at 10,000 leads a day, that's $30,000 a day. You got to be making some money. And so the first way to optimize it or to monetize it is, you send everybody who voted real estate to a real estate offer, everybody who voted stock market to a stock market offer. Yeah. And so, it's very relevant. They just voted, hey, I think stock market's the best way to make money. So then, bam, here's a stock market sales page. So that's one way to make money. And then the other way to make money is to sell the leads. And I don't look, there's a whole business model behind getting into lead sales. I don't know the laws in every country. I'm a marketer, not a lawyer. I do know that in the United States, it is legal to sell leads. It's only illegal if you have that little line on your page that says, we do not rent, sell, or share your leads. Well, if you say that and then you sell the leads, now it's very illegal.
And lame, not to mention lame.
Right. So don't do that. And make sure you have a privacy policy that explains you sell the leads. And I'm not in the lead sales game where I have a company that does all that, and you can buy different types of leads and whatever. But I usually use it just as a way to fund my campaign. So I will find just one partner. So let's say your leads are $3 each. Well, if you get one partner and you say, hey, why don't we go halvesies on these leads? You pay $1.50, I pay $1.50. You just chopped your cost per lead by 50%. That's huge. That could be the make it or break it point. So now it's even easier for you to ROI them, and that you're not spamming the crap out of the lead, by sending it to 20 different people.
Yeah.
You're sending it to you and your buddy. Maybe your buddy's got a real estate course and you've got a stock market course, and you both are good, high integrity guys with high quality products. So you're not hurting anybody. You're helping people, and you're helping yourself make the campaign even more profitable. So, I'll usually go as far as 5, people, get, all 5 people chip in 60 cents. That's $3. Everybody wins, and the lead isn't getting super stomped on either. We make sure it's everybody's high integrity, high quality products.
I like it. So everybody listening, basically business coaches, right? So I'm just trying to think, okay, so how could that be relevant for them? And I could see how, okay, so I'm in a city about 200,000 people. It's called Kelowna, near, Vancouver in Canada, right?
Yep.
So I could run a poll, and it would be, so it's the business owners in Kelowna. Do you think it's better to advertise for getting new customers in Kelowna? Is it better to advertise Facebook ads, and then the name of, the Kelowna Now is the number one newspaper, right? Or Kelowna Now. Click here to get the results. So a business coach, an accountant, and a financial planner team up, share the leads, drive the traffic, take their advertising budget, chop it in 3 because they got 3 folks sharing the leads, and they'd be off to the races. So is that how could we duplicate it that way for a business coach?
You could. That would work at some level. If I were to try and make that better with my experience in doing this, what I would tell you is, this poll level is like a very top of funnel lead gen. You're not really trying to look for the qualified lead right now. You're just trying to look for everybody. You want to get everybody. You want to get all the business owners on your opt-in. Okay. And so what I would do instead is I would target, let's say you're what you want to do is you want to attract business owners, right? Because you're a business coach. Yep. So you would do something like, hey, Polona business owners, what do you think is more important, marketing or sales? Now you got people that want to fight, right? Like that's something that would start a bar fight,
Possibly.
And that's the kind of emotional level you want to get to with your polls. You want, like keto versus paleo or vegan versus carnivore diet. You want to get to that emotional thing.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, so what exactly? Okay, so this is where I got that at a high level, and that the Facebook versus the newspaper isn't going to start a bar fight. Right. And you're saying sales versus marketing is an example of something that folks who get emotional about, like, in your words, going to start a bar fight, which I think is very good.
Right. And we all know the real answer is you need both. Right. You need marketing and you need sales, but everybody has a side. Everybody thinks, no, marketing's better, no sales is better, So that's why you use the poll to kind of elicit that visceral emotional response and get them on the list. And then from there, you might have a story telling them how you actually need both. And, that's what we do in our business coaching is we're going to show you how to align your marketing with your sales so that they both create a thing that's better than each other on its own. And bam, get on my free strategy session over here or whatever.
Yeah, got it. Because at the end of the day, this is very top of funnel, but the idea is that you want to get, thousands of leads, not hundreds of leads. And the way you'll do that is by barking down their emotional tree.
Right. You want to get the whole market. Go grab the whole market, pull the whole market onto your opt-in so that you don't have to advertise to them anymore. Grab the whole market, pull them into your funnel, and then from there, start, giving them middle funnel offers, webinars and free demos and free strategy sessions and stuff to start filtering out those people into your customers.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, well then let's take this another level. So I'm a business coach and he said, again, I live in Kelowna, so what the heck? Let's say I'm in Kelowna. And what would be the first steps that you would advise? And I've got pretty much no online presence. What do you feel like? What are the first few steps that you would advise me to take? And understanding that my goal is to attract small business owners and then ultimately close them as coaching clients. Okay. So what would be your first few steps for a business coach?
First step is get an online presence. You're going to have that to start getting them in. So whether that's an opt-in page or a Facebook group or you need something that you can kind of pull people into. Yep. And in the beginning, it's really I do think I'm not a big believer in only having a Facebook group or only having an Instagram profile or whatever. But I do believe that in the very beginning, for the first month, if all you did was, have your domain name drive to a profile or a group so that you can kind of play with the messaging and, acquire some people, ask them some questions and really kind of do your market research, your customer research, your surveys and things like that. So that later on, when you do your actual lead gen and your actual sales, I think that's a smart strategy to start collecting some people without having to kind of put in a whole bunch of costs or having to, here's the big thing. People are spending too much money building a funnel before they've ever driven any kind of marketing. So many guys come to me and they're like, oh yeah, I spent $25,000 building my funnel. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's do some traffic. And they're like, okay, I have $300 left. What can we do? I'm like, not much, bro.
I gotta go. Sorry, man. Yeah, I got you. Okay, so I want to make sure. So as an example, versus going and spending an enormous amount of time on, say, my LinkedIn profile, but obviously they should have that. It needs to be, the copy needs to be written properly, right? To be, not just me, but about them. Those are very basics of marketing that hopefully everybody already understands. But I think what I'm hearing, so you'd start, say, like a Facebook group, and consistent with what we just said a few minutes ago, maybe the sales and marketing in Kelowna. as an example. So that would be your Facebook group. You drive folks to it, which would be your ideal clients, because people interested in sales and marketing likely are going to be local business owners trying to work it out. Is that an example? Is that what you said? Is that what you'd agree with?
I mean, whatever people like, I mean, I like email. I'm a writer, so, I mean, I got tattoos on my arm, with the ink pen and quill. And so I like to write. So email works very well for me. But for some people, that's scary. You got to know about email deliverability and the rules. And, so some people, Facebook groups is good. You just need somewhere where you can kind of create your own audience. You can kind of capture people, whether it be with a YouTube subscriber button or a Facebook group join or an email opt-in. You need a way for people to kind of come in and capture them. You know what I mean? I don't mean capture in a bad way, but I mean in a way that like you can follow up with them. So whatever that is for you, if Instagram's easy for you, if TikTok, whatever, wherever you can kind of capture people, kind of build an audience and start talking with that audience, asking them questions, delivering value, and seeing, if your blog post even get any reaction from them, or if your videos get any reaction from them. That's what you need to do first. You need to kind of build your core community that's going to help you understand how to market to this to these people, which headlines work, which email titles work, and all that stuff. Then once you have that, now you can start doing real marketing. You can start driving to a case study page. You can start driving to a sales page and whatnot.
Hey, well, let's go to that step number 2. Okay, so hang on.
Okay.
So step number 1. I've got to build it's going to be it's going to be the Facebook group. It's going to be the LinkedIn group.
Right.
It's going to be the driving traffic to that landing page. But you said something very important that you're a writer, you're an email guy, but we both know the importance. You got to own your own traffic. And if you build your entire, we'll call it your database, and they're all in your Facebook group, and you don't have a strategy to take them from your Facebook group to your inbox, as in to your email list, you're making a huge error, because ultimately Facebook can change their mind one day. They could shut it down. There could be a mistake. Something ever goes wrong with your Facebook profile. You ever tried to contact Facebook support? Right? You good luck with that one.
Yeah, I was teaching
so anyway,
my son.
So you got to pull them from the group to your email list. I think they should be doing that no matter what. And if you're not writers, you really got to find a way to just, find a way to send out value in some way, shape, or form, whether it be audio, video, ideally some text. Hire professionals. They come very inexpensively. You won't necessarily get good for inexpensive, but bad is better than not done at all.
One of the best ways to build a YouTube subscribership is getting people to opt in and then sending them videos. I mean, that's one of the best ways to build on YouTube. So, video to email works extremely well. It doesn't have to only be writing.
Yeah, love it. Okay, so then let's go to step number 2. So they've got that audience. They've got a little bit of a following. You kind of segued into case studies. Would you agree that would be step number 2? And if so, could you elaborate on it for me?
Yeah, for all my own consulting, and I've consulted some of the top guys in the industry: John Assaraf, Russell Brunson, Dan Kennedy, on a lot of things. Or I should say GKIC, because it wasn't actually Dan Kennedy. But the model that's always worked for me is creating some sort of really lucrative case study. So one of them that I talk about right now is how to get 10,000 leads a day. People are like, "What? I never heard you could get 10,000 leads a day. How you doing that? Tell me how you did that." And so you got to create some sort of interesting result or some sort of interesting story. And that's why you want to build that audience first. You want to know what makes them tick, what is interesting to them. And when you find that interesting thing that they all of a sudden, everybody's liking and commenting and going nuts over, that becomes your case study. And that's why you need that first audience to kind of understand what is interesting. So once you have that interesting case study, now you're going to get, you're going to move from just an email address to getting, name, email, address, phone, what's your business size. You don't want this page to convert very high, because if it converts too high, then you're going to get a bunch of people on the other side. You're going to be doing sales calls with people that have no business ever even being on the phone with you. You know? So on our tour page, or when I used to have my case study page, I would purposefully make sure it didn't convert well. I didn't want to be on the phone with a bunch of people that were not super interested in. I wanted them to kind of jump through hurdles. And I also wanted to have a lot of information. That way I could follow up with them offline. I could do, phone calls. I could do text messaging. You want to really be able to maximize this lead. So name, email, phone, what's your business size, what role are you in the company, all those, kind of things. Look at HubSpot forms, for example. They do great at marketing to business owners, and Salesforce as well. So that's what you want. You want that interesting case study, and then you want to hide it behind, a big form. And then, behind that form, now you're going to deliver your case study, and it should give them a wow moment. It should make them be like, man, this is the guy I want to hire. Another one that I did, I just reverse engineered, like the marketer that everybody wanted. So I was going after business owners in the finance space, in the stock market space, people who had newsletters and published courses about the stock market. And so I know that they all knew about this man, Fisher Investments. If you're in the stock market space, Fisher Investments is the 800-pound gorilla. Everybody knows about him. His ads are everywhere. Everybody wants to be him. So I just, reverse engineered everything he was doing. Here's all of his ads. Here's his landing pages. Here's the keywords he's using. Everything. Here's what his opt-in pages looks like. And so when my customers read that, they were like, okay, him, I want to hire this guy. He knows how to do all the stuff that this guy knows how to do. So I want to hire him. And so that's kind of like the experience your case study should give them. They should be reading your case study and going, this is exactly the type of person I'm looking to hire.
Got it. Okay, so for a business coach listening, I want to make sure again that they're just digesting this magic that you're giving them. So I think so again, we're just going to consider the city's Kelowna that we're going on today. So so this is written by a business coach, something along the lines of how I helped the business owner in Kelowna go from 10 leads a month to 100 leads a day using only Facebook advertising and Kelowna Now. Give me an example, right?
Right.
So they go, oh, wow, okay, how do we pull this off? Or maybe another one would be like the most popular, Jane Hoffman is like the number one realtor in town. And no doubt realtors could be a pretty little, reasonable kind of market. Like I coached realtors and, really knocked it out of the park with a realtor. Like if you introduce me to a realtor, I'll just change their life instantly, provided, of course, they follow through, which, of course, they never do. The ones that do, just, it's game over. But anywho, so that campaign would be, here's a case study of how the number one realtor in Kelowna went from X to X, just, whatever the numbers would be. Now, if I'm a realtor, they're going to want to get at that case study desperately because I'm the guy. I didn't necessarily have to advise Jane Hoffman, right? What I had to have done is reversed engineered all of her campaigns, laid it there on a silver platter, and went, here's what I'm going to provide for you. Right? Am I on the right track? Would you agree with?
Absolutely. You gotta show the customer that you know how to do what the 800-pound gorilla is doing. Yeah. And then when you do, then they're going to be like, oh yes, this is who I want to hire. I want to hire them to show me how to do all that stuff. And you gotta one second here. There's something important. You have to really let go of the scarcity mindset and think in abundance here. You have to know that majority of people are always going to be the DIY type, and so, help the world a little bit by giving that DIY guy, give to him. Let him go, let him go because he's going to tell everybody I learned it from homeboy, even though he never paid you anything. I got so many people that have never paid me anything, but they're evangelists because they're like, man, I learned so much from them. You should really go check them out. And so you need that side of things just as much as you need the people who buy from you. Not everybody's buying Grant Cardone's material, or not everybody's buying Gary V's $25,000 consulting session, but he has all those evangelists as well. So you need both sides. Okay.
So what you're saying though is that your case study is that good that if they bought it and they looked at it, they wouldn't actually need to hire you. Like you're going to change their life. There's this document step by step.
Right, because
they're the do-it-yourself guys. They're going to become the evangelists, but a percentage of them are going to hand over, very big checks and make huge commitments because you're the guy they want to do it.
Right, because if you give the formula away to 10 people, 9 of them are going to be like, "This is great. I think I could do this myself." But one guy is going to be like, "Hell no, I don't want to do this by myself. I want my money to work for me. I'm going to pay you to help me do this."
That's your ideal client on steroids.
Exactly. Because that's the guy you don't have to twist their arm into buying. That's the guy who's actually going to follow through with things for you, And the other guy, you're going to be dragging him by his hair the whole way through, and he's not going to give you a good result. He's not going to tell his whole network about you. So give in the case study, and that one, that 10% of people are going to sign up, and they're going to do everything you say, and they're going to tell all their buddies, and it's going to build and build.
Yeah. Okay. I want to make sure again, just because I know I have some business coaches listening, and they're sitting there, and it's kind of going in one ear out the other, and that they're not the drive traffic guy. So for you guys, I want you to. So the case study that I just described on how we murdered it with the realtor, your case study can be how we took an XYZ business, how we took the local plumber, the dentist, the butcher, baker, the candlestick maker. How we took them from $100,000 to $1 million in step-by-step order to provide a $1 million windfall of profits per annum. So that could become your report, right? It might not drive as well as the driving traffic because everybody's obsessed with the lead generation online and whatnot. But that's going to be more synergistic with what it is that you do. It's stuff. And Justin, in our world, what we do is the number one expense in your life, my life, and everyone we know is taxes, right? But the average family will not spend literally not 5 minutes, even in a lifetime, learning taxes. It's something that totally intimidates them, freaks them out, but it's the number one expense in their life, right? But then mom will go start an MLM, right, and start selling lingerie in the kitchen to make an extra. Why? To make an extra $10,000 this year. And she's working her butt off, and in many cases, stuffing up some of those close relationships, right? Because her friends all of a sudden don't want to take her calls because she's trying to organize these lingerie parties. But you know what I mean? It's asinine when you really understand it. One of the other things I'll tell any business coach, you take on a coaching client, the first thing you do is you go through their credit card statements. Literally, if you're a coach, say at $1,500 a month, that's $18,000 a year. The average business owner, I can spend literally 2 hours with them ripping through their financial statements. And in fairness, I read financial statements a little better than the average bear, the average business coach is going to be able to do. But it doesn't take a lot of expertise. It's not that challenging. When you see accounts receivable is a major challenge, that's work that they've done, they've fulfilled, they worked their butt off to get those customers, did the work, and then didn't get the money. And they're okay with it somehow. And then they want to go drive traffic on Facebook and not look after their accounts receivable. You know what I mean? It's just what do you, you're going to be crazy. So anyway, just for my business coaches listening, I want to make sure that they feel comfortable that it doesn't always have to be the magic that Justin's giving you guys here is in building that campaign and the way he's done it so successfully. But you're going to be able to adjust it to suit your niche, and it might be profitability versus how much traffic that you were able to acquire for the specific client, like a realtor.
Right. Maybe you're the business coach that helps people with advertising, or maybe you're the business coach that helps people with hiring, or maybe you're the business coach that helps people with accounting. There's a lot of areas. Business owners need a whole lot of help. And your case study, it just has to be one of those areas that they need help, and give them that wow moment.
Yeah, I love it. So what about it? So here's another one. I get business coaches that are always looking to fill live events. Right. So is there any way, what would be similar to what you just did for me? In the step-by-step nature, if you got started as a business coach, if you were trying to put 20 people into a room at the local chamber of commerce and you were a business coach, Is there a little bit of a step-by-step methodology you could think of, or what would you instinctively go to? How would you do it?
Yeah, I mean, I used to do this for Harvecker, it's Peak Profits or whatever the name of the company is. I've done this with a lot of big event companies, and what it really becomes about is what are they going to learn there, and then what are the instant. Look, everybody knows there ain't no such thing as a free dinner. There's no such thing as a free event. They know there's a catch. Okay, so just bring up the catch.
Yeah.
What I have found is the thing that causes the friction, which causes the lack of conversions, is not addressing what the catch is. Because then they're like skeptical. They're like, oh, I don't know. Maybe he's got rattlesnakes there. Or, I don't know. Maybe they're going to kidnap me. They don't know what the catch is. But when you let them know the catch is, I've got a home study course that I'm going to show you as well. But also before I show you that, I'm going to give you a free dinner. I'm going to give you a free notebook. I'm going to teach you a few things. You're going to be able to walk away from this event better than whether you buy or not. You're going to walk away from this event better than you were before. And so when you address the catch up front, what your secret agenda is up front, then they can make then their fear is gone. And the suspicion, that moment of friction is gone. So that's the biggest thing is, address what the secret agenda is up front and let them know that, whether you buy or not, you're still going to have a good time. You're still going to have, get to eat, if you serve a free lunch or a free dinner or whatever it is that you do, let them know that they're going to still get something valuable out of it, but you are also going to show them your home study program or your mastermind or whatever it is. And then another model that works really good is a 3-day event, but you can come to the first day for free. And if you want to stay for the second day, you got to pay. That works really, really well.
Yeah. Is that what, and T. Harvecker, is that what he did?
I don't think T. Harvecker did that one, but Craig Ballantyne did that one. A couple of my other clients do that one. I've done it myself. It's a great way to it's really good when you already have an existing list and community, because some people will pay right away. They're like, oh yeah, I'm signing up for the 3-day event, and so you market to your pre-existing customers. Tell them you got a 3-day event coming up, and they're like, oh yes, absolutely, I want to be there. And then you go to all your non-customers and you say, hey, we're doing this 3-day event. We got everybody coming out. It's going to be a good time. No strings attached. Come on out the first day. See if you like it. If you do, you can see Sally at the back. She'll take your order, and you can stay for day 2 and 3.
Yep. Love it. What about pure driving traffic online? Like, say, again, so I'm in Kelowna. I want to fill an event in Kelowna. Mm-hmm. So I go, okay, so here's my budget, and let's just use $1,500 as an arbitrary number. So one of the first things that I would do is you guide me through this, but first thing I do is go find who's the, what's the number one folk out there selling advertising, like as in the Kelowna Now is a number one newspaper. So you automatically assume they sell more advertising than anybody else. So I go to the people that are following them. I'll look for the local business guru, right? So whoever's the most high profile kind of business coach, kind of marketing guy in the Kelowna area, I follow him. And then I take my advertising dollars and I basically build audiences around those guys or something along those lines. Would that be a strategy that you'd use?
You're talking about just, how do you target the local guys?
Yeah, I want to put 20 people in a local live event, and I'm a business coach. Yep. So I've got to, because I got to be able to find the audience, right? Right. Is that a strategy that you'd deploy?
Yeah. So if we're talking about Facebook specifically, they have a feature called narrow audience.
Yep.
And so what you want to do is you can pinpoint the location. You could say, whatever city and 10 miles around it, 25 miles around it, whatever. So now you're only going out to people in this area, but then you're also going to want to narrow the audience. And so I recently did this, and I wasn't trying to fill an event, but you could do the exact same strategy for filling an event. And so what I did is there was recently a marketing conference for ad agencies up in New York. Times Square. And so we started our ads, and we put the pin right on the hotel that they were staying at, and then we excluded all the areas around it. So we were only advertising to this like 1 mile spot of Times Square. But I mean, Times Square is huge. There's millions of people there, and not all of them are qualified. So I said, okay, well, everybody that's within this 1 mile circle, but then also they have to be interested in Frank Kern.
Yeah, there you go.
So now I've narrowed my audience to, so you want location plus an interest, and so, I usually like software. Software tends to be really good. So everybody in this location that also likes Salesforce, or that also likes, MailChimp, or, whatever, you'll probably know your market. And this is why that initial group, that initial profile is so important, because it lets you learn what software do they use, what influencers do they follow. You start to learn about these people, which lets you then know what to target, what to say in your pages, what the case study to make. And so you just got to know your audience, what software they use. I usually like to use software. So right now, a lot of my ad campaigns are targeting people, business owners that like Shopify, because I know that that's a software that my customers use.
Yep, got it. I love it. Justin, you are a treasure trove, my man, of magic. Ask you this question, man. What's a book, all of my folks, what's a book you'd recommend for business coaches you think they should all be reading and that you love?
Yeah, so I would probably say there's two of them. And you want both of them, and I'll tell you why. You want the book Clockwork by Michael Mikowitz. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. It's new, right?
It's fairly new. It's been out for a little bit, but yeah, it is fairly new, a couple years. And this book, the reason why this book is it's going to really give you a good system to follow. And when I mean a system, I mean how to, what it's helped me do it's helped me to not have to be responsible for everything in my business, so that my team can do it. Like we did our first exercise where we unplugged from the business for a whole week, and no contact at all. I mean, it sounds scary, but he gives you a bunch of exercises to do beforehand, and then these unplugged sessions are a test of the systems you've built to make sure that you are building a business that can run without you, instead of you having to be always there running everything. And so we did our first test, and then the second test, and so Clockwork will really help you build a business where you don't need to be there. And then the next book would be Built to Sell. I forget the author's name. It's a very popular book, Built to Sell. And this one will help you productize your service, so that you're not delivering a new thing for every single customer, which is impossible to ever hire people. How can you ever train a new employee if you're delivering a different product every single time?
Yeah.
If you deliver
John Werlow, does that sound?
Yes, that's him. And so if you're delivering a different service every single time, you'll never be able to hire, because you'll never be able to train. But, the Built to Sell book will really show you how to productize a service so that you're delivering the same thing every time, which means you can forecast your costs, which means you can start hiring, which means you can start training, and you combine that with Clockwork, and now you know how to build a team that doesn't need you, and you finally start freeing yourself up.
Cool. Michael, is that the guy? Are you familiar with Profit First?
Yes, yeah, he wrote that book too.
Same guy? Yeah, okay, that's cool. So it's different. Profit First is more about, breaking up your finances and making sure that you're actually profitable. So Clockwork is more about building a sustainable business. That'd be right?
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Cool. I like it. I've seen it out there, but I haven't gotten it, surprisingly. So there you go. It's going to be on my hit list, man. Good job. Well, look, Justin, any parting words, man? You got some business coaches listening to you. No doubt they're impressed. That would be an understatement. You are magic, my man. Any parting words here for my folks?
I would say that you're going to need retargeting. Retargeting is very important for business coaches because you're probably going to have various pieces of content and social marketing and things like that. We've got a free book on adskills.com with all my retargeting recipes. It's not the type of book you can read cover to cover if you want to. It might be a little boring. It's more of the type of a book where you would pick it up, flip to a chapter, and be like, okay, we're gonna do this marketing strategy this week, and then next week you flip open to another chapter and you do that one.
Beautiful. So how do they find you? So Adskills. So tell us again. These guys are going to need guys. Look, at the end of the day, if you're looking for, and you should be, not only for yourself but for your clients. I mean, you don't need to become a specialist. You don't need to become the next Justin Brooke and be able to do this stuff, at the scale and the mass that he does it. But these are skills that you need as a business coach to kind of understand generally. So Adskills is something I got a lot of my buddies have gone through it. Again, Justin and I share. We got lots of the same buddies and all the the heavyweights in the marketing and the internet marketing world. They almost line up one by one and say, if you want to do paid advertising, you want to understand this stuff at the highest level, there's one guy and one guy only you need to learn from, and it's Justin Brooke. So you guys should all take him up on the offer on that. And speaking of which, how can everybody, how can they find you, Justin? Send us to the homeland.
Adskills.com. Adskills.com. Just as it sounds.
With an S, correct?
Yep.
Adskills. There we go, man. Okay, well, look, thank you so much, Justin. Appreciate your time. And we'll be speaking again soon, man. But good job. And on behalf of all my folks, thank you so much. And those of you listening, guys, of course, if you could do me a favor, if you can give us a rating, that would be super appreciated. Leave us a review. And again, if you know a business coach needs this material, please get it out to them. And of course, if you know somebody who should become a business coach, that hot sales guy or somebody a little bit frustrated in the old corporate world, we can take them out of that and turn them into a business coach in record time and have them doing very, very well with their own business. So send them our way. So Justin, thank you so much. Folks listening, been great.
Bye.
Karl Bryan built Profit Acceleration Software 2.0 to train business coaches how to find any small business owner more than $100,000 in 45 minutes without them spending an extra dollar on marketing or advertising. This becomes a business coach's superpower. So as a business coach, you'll never again have to worry about working with business owners that can't afford your high-end coaching fees. Check us out at Focused.com.